It's time to turn your life-challenging moments into life-changing messages. Welcome to the Power Lift Stories podcast, where we are interviewing women whose stories will leave you lifted up, fired up, and fueled up with hope, courage, and inspiration. We want to thank our sponsor, Powerful Journey, who helps women tell their stories, write their books, and building a profitable brand around both. Join the masterclass or the Speakers Academy at phyllisjenkins.com. That is PhyllisJenkins.com. Now here's your host, Phyllis Jenkins.
Hello, I'm Phyllis Jenkins, and let me just tell you, I'm going to be for real today. Normally you see me cool, calm, and collected. Well, I'm there now, but it's been a day and a half, and I'm going to let you in on it because I believe that you need to know that what you see in the end product is not always what happens behind the scenes. So today I am interviewing Donna Edman, and I am super excited to have her here. But let me just tell you, this morning, Donna is in California. Phyllis is in Texas. Phyllis got the times mixed up. So I was on this morning at 10 when actually I should have been on at 12. So that was the first thing that happened today. Actually, I woke Donna up, I believe, when I called her. And then I decided to leave my home office, come to my office space, and I have a new laptop and have not used the Wi-Fi here yet. So guess what happened? I had issues. I had to run downstairs, get the tech guy, but on the way back up, the elevator didn't want to work. Now, I've been in this building for at least 6-7 years. Never, ever has that happened before. So, Donna, all I have to say is this is going to be a wonderful interview, and so many great things are going to come of this because of all of the stuff that has happened behind the scenes. So let me say to you again, to the Power Lift Stories community and the Powerful Journey community, welcome and thank you for letting me rant about what happened before we got on today. But again, I hope that you'll see that things don't always go smoothly. But I could have said, Donna, you know what? This has been a terrible day. Let's just reschedule this. No, we're going to move forward. We're going to laugh about what has happened because we know that there's greatness at the end of this. So we are moving forward. Welcome today. I'm so happy you're here. And I am going to introduce my special guest, and we're going to dig into this interview and have some fun. Our guest today is Donna Edman. Donna, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you, Phyllis.
And thank you for playing with me today.
Yeah, of course.
So let me just share some great things about who Donna is. Donna is an award-winning photographer with a passion to honor people. Her ability to engage with clients helps her to feel comfortable, helps them to feel comfortable, and the results are portraits that capture the authentic selves. And you'll hear more about that when we talk about her latest book. When Donna is not with clients, she is still teaching photography to adults and children. That's great. She thinks that anyone can learn to develop their creative eye. Donna encourages her students to believe that there are things that would not be seen if they didn't photograph them. Wow. Think about what she just said. That speaks volumes there. Donna and her high school sweetheart husband lives in Fullerton, California. They have two adult daughters, two adult children. Are they daughters? I'm giving you daughters.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we have that in common. I have two adult daughters as well. They have two adult daughters, two adorable grandchildren, and two goofy dachshunds. And what a fun person you are about to meet. In her free time, Donna is creating images of architect, nature, and anything else that she thinks is beautiful. When Donna is not creating photographs, she is playing with her family, cycling, swing dancing. I told you this lady is fun. And occasionally she sits still long enough to watch art, film, and to read. Donna, welcome to the Power Lift Stories podcast.
Well, thank you so much, Phyllis.
Again, what an honor it is to be with you. And I'm just going to jump in with our first question, which is, if you were to give your story a title, what would that title be and why?
My title would be, It's Okay to Be Just Okay. I come from a perfectionist background, and I don't think it was ever taught to me. I think it just developed. And I have a mantra that my father did tell me, is that if you can't do something right, don't do it at all, which just kind of stood with me. It's not that he meant anything by it. He just meant do your best. But in my mind, I kind of twisted that to mean I better not try anything because it might not be perfect. Right. And so the last many, many years, I've learned that it's okay just to be okay. You don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be perfect.
And you know what? Isn't that great for what has happened today with this podcast? It's
Exactly.
good that we were not trying to be perfect, because we wouldn't be on here today if we were. With that said, Donna, would you share your life-changing story, please?
Well, when I was 32, I'm 67 now. So when I was 32, many years ago, someone asked me my favorite color. And I thought, blue is her favorite color. So I'm going to say blue. And then I went away thinking, why am I doing that? Why am I living to please other people, to be accepted by other people? I have no idea what my favorite color is. And I don't know my favorite many things. So from that point forward, the big battleship started to turn to a self-discovery journey. And so I now know my favorite color.
And what is your favorite color?
My favorite color is green.
Oh, wonderful. That's great. So Donna, what would you say to a woman listening who is now walking in the same shoes that you were walking in, wanting to always please others?
It's not our purpose. God has developed us to be who we are. God has birthed us to be who we are, to develop who we are. And then just, I think finding out who you are is part of our life journey. And then to revel in who we are and use those gifts that God's given us, right? To be a walking example of who he is, to be that light by just being authentic.
Being authentic. Absolutely. Well, it is a life lesson to be learned. And that is so very true, that God has gifted each of us with an assignment that is so different, because we're all unique. And we have to step into that assignment and be who he has created us to be, just as you just said so eloquently. So Donna, speaking of God, he does reveal himself in our life experiences. So how has God revealed himself through your life experiences?
I think my journey for a very long time was self-directed. I think I should do this. I think I should be this way. And over time, God has revealed that this is what he has given me, is a gift of encouragement, a gift of wisdom, of many things that I can use to be his voice, his hands and feet here.
Mm-hmm.
And just to do that, embrace that, just go with it.
Just
Go
go
with
with
what,
it.
what's been given to me instead of trying to manufacture it somehow.
Love that. Love that. So Donna, I want you to imagine that you just stood on a stage in beautiful California, and you shared your life-changing story. You stood there on stage, and as far as you could see, there was a sea of women, and you shared your story. You looked into the audience and you saw women leaning in to what you were saying. You saw women wiping tears because they could relate to what you were saying. But now your story has ended. The women they stood to their feet, gave you a standing ovation, and now they have left to walk to their vehicles to return home. What is it that Donna Edman hopes that every woman walks away with? At least what 3 lessons do you hope they're taking home with them?
That you are enough, just as you are, just as God has made you to be, that you're loved by him. Might not be loved by everyone around you, but you're loved by him, and that I personally care.
That's great. That is great. Well, I have your beautiful book here, your latest book, and I am just loving it. I want to talk about it now. The title of it is Women of Wisdom, Honoring Their Grace, Strength, and Beauty. So Donna, share with our audience, how did this project come about? What was your why with writing it, and anything else that you want to share? There are just, I'm going to scan. I'm just loving this. I love the pictures and the stories that you have captured in this book. So talk to us about it.
What you showed Barbara right there, Barbara's in her 90s and is still doing Meals on Wheels and still serving people. And I think she's in her 90s. You'll have to look, I think. And let me say this first. I want to create authentic portraits. So if somebody wants the 80s glamour, I'll do that for them, where they do the hair and the makeup and they look like they think they should look. But that's not, my passion. My passion is to create images of people just as they are, right? So the women in this project, anybody could participate who's 50 years or older, right? But they had to agree that that their images would be made public without any retouching. So no photoshopping, no retouching. We're beautiful just as we are, right? So with Barbara, she had a Fitbit on, right? So I encourage people to bring things that are important to them or says something about them. She had her pretty dress, and she was looking all fancy, and she had her Fitbit. So instead of asking her to take that off, it didn't match the dress, right? It's like, this is who she is, right? So to go back and answer your question, I had a great mom. My mom was encouraging. My mom encouraged me to be who I was and to be independent and make my own decisions. She's a homemaker who very few people knew her. And I thought, oh, I'm all teary. I thought, there's so many women who don't have a voice that have contributed so much to their families, to their community, that this project started when Ruth Bader Ginsburg had passed away. And I thought, famous women, young and old, famous women have a platform for their voice, to tell their story. But it's us everyday women, don't have that platform. So I wanted to honor women over 50. It was kind of that half century on. So I wanted to honor women over 50 and give them a platform for their voice. And that project just sort of evolved. It evolved from just creating a portrait and giving them their portrait as an art project to asking them how would they advise their 20-year-old self, not advise another 20-year-old, But when you go to bed at night, I said, think about who you were and envision who you are, when you were 20, and what decisions were you making? What were you wearing? Who were the people in your life? And think back, and now that you're 50 and older, how would you advise that person? And it made it so personal. It was just so inspiring and so interesting to me. And then when I'm photographing them, I like to just chit chat because it helps people be comfortable. So we chit chat, take a few, chit chat, take a few. And their stories were just so interesting. So I backtracked and asked them to write a peek into their personal stories. And so the text in the book, for the most part, except for my introduction, the text in the book is written by each participant.
I love that. And some amazing stories that are captured in the book, along with these beautiful pictures that you have in here. Just love this. So tell our listeners, how can they purchase this book, and how can they connect with Donna Edman?
Just connect with me personally. They can telephone me, they can write me an email, they can connect with me on my Facebook, my social media, they can connect with me on my website. So all of those ways, however you'd like to personally connect with me. Because I like to connect with the people who are interested in being inspired by this book. I want to connect with them. So I want to do this on a personal basis. And then what I'll do is if the book is for them, I'll write a message to them, with a signature. If it's for a gift for someone else, I'll write that message to that person. So it makes it very personal.
I love that. And I want to just read, and for our audience, I will have all of Donna's information, her contact information, in the show notes below. So please look for that and reach out to her. I've already told her I'm flying to California so that she can do a photo session with me. I absolutely love how she's captured the women. I want to read a poem, I guess we could call this, I Am Not Old, by Samantha Reynolds. It's at the beginning of the book. And as we prepare to close our interview today, let me just read this to you. It says, I am not old, she said. I am rare. I am the standing ovation at the end of the play. I am the retrospective of my life as art. I am the hours connected like dots into good sense. I am the fullness of existing. You think I am waiting to die, but I am waiting to be found. I am a treasure. I am a map. These wrinkles are imprints of my journey. Ask me anything. I love this, Donna. I love that. By Samantha Reynolds. Wow. Is there anything else, any parting message that you would like to share with our audience?
My parting message would be that God loves you just how He has birthed you. He loves you just as you are. You're enough. And then seek who that person is. Find out your passion. Work within your passion. Be independent. Don't depend on others to create your life for you.
Wonderful. That's great. Well, Donna, thank you so much. I've again enjoyed reading the book, reading the stories. It's an honor to have you on the podcast. And let me just say to the Power of Stories audience, as most of you know, I believe that you can turn your life challenging moments into a life-changing message, a message of hope, a message of inspiration, a message of encouragement that will help others on their journey. And my message to you is for you to go tell your story. Speaking of telling our stories, we are super excited because the Powerful Journey Women's Conference is just around the corner. It is April 29th and 30th, April 29th and 30th. And we are having, it's a 2-day conference. You can come in person or virtual, and you can go to phyllisjenkins.com to register. That's PHYLLIS Jenkins, JENKINS.com to register. Registration closes on April 13th. So make sure you go and register, beat that deadline, and let me tell you, whether you come in person or whether you watch virtually, it is going to be a life-changing experience. These women, many of them are courageously stepping forward, telling their stories for the very first time publicly. And most of them have become authors. Actually, all of them have become authors. Either they have written their own book through the Powerful Journey Authors Academy, or they have participated in the Telling Our Stories Anthology, Volume 1, and they have written a chapter in the anthology. I want to let you know Volume 2 is open now to receive applicants for the Volume 2. Again, you can go to my website. If you're at the conference, we will open it up. You can come to my vendor booth and sign up for the Telling Our Stories Volume 2. Or if you just want to write your own book, you can sign up for the Authors Academy. The bottom line is somebody needs to hear your story. Your story is not just for you. It's to go out and to be a blessing to others. That's exactly what these women have done in Donna's book. And so I encourage you to go tell your story. Donna, thank you again so very much for coming on today and sharing your story. I know that your story, as well as your book, is going to be a great impact to so many, many that you'll never meet yourself, but know that it's going forward and being a blessing to others. So thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Phyllis. It was such an honor to be with you.
Wonderful. Well, family, we will look forward to seeing you back here next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. If you are interested in being on the show, go to phyllisjenkins.com. You can also sign up for the Powerful Journey Masterclass or the Speakers Academy at phyllisjenkins.com.